to my live. I'm Sisian from Manifest underscore with underscore Sisian. My channel is all about spirituality, self-development, and awakening, and being aware and living in your best life, living in your own truth. Okay. So today we're going to be speaking about a very interesting topic because we are already like in the Lions Gate portal. Energies are all full right at the moment. Yesterday was the peak of the whole process, which is the 8th of the 8th. Okay, it started from the 26th of July, right, when the Lion Gate portal opened. Right, so this is a great time for people that are spiritually aware about the energies and frequencies and what how astrology really affects us as human beings. Okay, and on top of it, today is the full moon. Okay, today is the 9th of August and it's a full moon. So there's a lot of energies that are coming through. Okay, so when you become spiritually aware and when you started focusing on spirituality, you get to understand that the environment we live in, the earth has a certain frequency, and astrology is so important as well because it also affects the energies, because everything is energy, right? Everything is energy, and we are energy, so we are affected by the moon phases as well. We are affected by astrology, but how the astrological bodies move around, we are then affected. Now let's speak more about the portal, the Lionsgate portal, right? The Lionsgate portal is a powerful astrological energetic alignment. It's about the astrology. It's an alignment. A portal is a doorway. It's a door. So when I say that portal is open, I mean the door is open, right? So the Lion's Gate is basically related to the sun, which is Leo. Now Leo is about abundance and prosperity. Now hearing people doing like abundance spells, manifestation, techniques to try and level up their manifesting, because Leo is about the sun, yes, but Leo is basically the lion, about abundance, of the king of the jungle kind of energy, right? So Leo represents strength, represents courage and expression, as well as the heart, love, right? The heart, the powerful heart chakra. The sun, which rules Leo, right, with identity, power, and illumination. Okay, the rising of the sun, the spiritual sun called Sirius. Sirius is the spiritual sun, as I say in spirituality. Okay, it's more brighter than the sun itself, right? The physical sun, and it also has a different energy. There's a more feminine energy. Okay, the Sirius sun is a bright star, often referred to as a spiritual sun. So it's actually a star, but it's referred to as a spiritual sun, okay? Because it carries that energy of abundance and prosperity, okay? Then the other thing we need to understand about it, that ancient Egyptians honored the sun, the spiritual sun called Sirius. They honored it rising as the start of the new year, and a time of rebirth and abundance. They speak about the Nile overflowing at this time whenever this phase chapter came through. Okay, when the Lion's Gates opened, right? There was a flood and stuff like that, right? So it's rising. The rising of the sky responds. The rising in the sky responds to the increase of spiritual power and downloads consciousness, awareness, because a portal is open. Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for joining. A portal is open, so it's all about that, right? Portals open, doorways open. Now, portals are very interesting because they're everywhere, okay? Portals are quite interesting, okay, because they can be closed intentionally and open intentionally. But now this specific Lion's Gate portal is not done by man, it's done by the astrology, it's done by the universe. Universal energies, it's not controlled by human beings, right? But there are portals that get controlled by human beings, right? And there's nature portals on the earth, and there's portals that are man-made, like the mirror is man-made, but it's a portal, right? So now here we go. Let's continue. So there's also alignment to the Orion's belt and the earth. Speaking about the rising Orion's belt. So if you're interested in astrology and you want to know more about these things, you can go ahead and find out more. They also speak about Orion's belt aligning with the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the Pyramid of Giza. Apparently, underneath the Pyramid of Giza, there's some spiritual energies and entities underneath there, things that are happening on the back end of this reality. Okay, so when you or a spiritual person, you get like information, you get drawn to this type of information because it's all parts of energy. All right. Then there's also involving the number 8, infinity. 8 in numerology is infinity, right? Infinity, never ending, because this reality never ends. Nothing really ends here. It's like just like a movement and a change of representation of the very same energy, because energy never dies, right? And it never ends. Okay. So that is why the 8th number is so important. Like yesterday was the 8th of the 8th. Okay. So that was the peak of the Lionsgate portal. Open energies. Now when you're manifesting and you or you saying your affirmations, you are doing all the spiritual things to get things into your life. It's powerful. Even ancestral veneration is also powerful as well. Because remember, the earth is our true ancestor, right? If you had love, your family's born on this earth, right? Remember, your body comes from the earth, so the earth is our ancestor. Anyway, Mother Gaia is our mother, our ancestor, our major ancestor, right? Where we come from, okay? Because you're born from the earth. When you pass and you die, you go back into the earth, right? So you come back again, like your physical body, because everything is in the earth is in our physical bodies as well. Okay, so let's go on. Why is it so spiritually significant, this whole Lionsgate drama? Why is everybody so much talking about this Lionsgate? Why is it such an exciting topic every year at this time, right? From the 26th of July, right, till the 12th of this month, August. There's big talk about this Lionsgate. What is the big ooh-ha-ha around it? What is the big thing about this Lionsgate? Lionsgate, people say they receive downloads at this time, spiritual downloads. As the Lionsgate is considered to be a portal of higher consciousness, a portal of higher consciousness, a time when the veil between the physical world and the spiritual world is thinner, right? So there's times in this reality where we can actually feel spirit more than other times, and the Lion's Gate being open now is one of the times where we actually we have that a easier connection with the divine, with the energies. Hi Pete, thank you for joining my live. Today we're talking about portals, we're talking about Lion's Gate, right? And we're going to talk basically about how magical this time is and how we can take advantage of. But remember, everything is perception. So it will not affect every person the same way, because not every person is tuned into this type of consciousness. Not every person is tuned into spirituality. You understand? That kind of thing. So even myself, when I was in the church, before I left the church, I was clueless of these things, because I was more focused on I was focused on, and that was the church and living the grind and living unconsciously, because everything's just happening and you're feeling like a victim and you run into this God to help you and all those things, right? But anyway, when you become spiritual, you start now. Greetings from South Africa, Pete. In South Africa, greetings to you, sweetie pie. I'm also in South Africa at this moment. I'm actually based in Durban, right? Thank you for joining your dog died, so they must be repaired. It has to be dead. There's birth and death. Because there's birth, there has to be death. So death is part of the cycle, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really die. It's a it's a movement from one existence to another. So your dog is still in the spirit. Okay, so you can still connect to your pets when they pass. Just like how we can connect with our family members when they pass as well. So it's not a time. I know it's painful. It's painful to lose a pet, but just rest assured that pet is still there. It's still part of your family and all those things, right? There's things you need to understand, that we don't really lose the people that we love and the things we love, out the pets that we love, because they're parts of us. Okay. So as I said, you'll get spiritual downloads, okay, at this time when the Lion's Gate is open. They're speaking about the Lion's Gate considered to be a portal of higher consciousness, a time when the veil between the physical and the spiritual is very thin. As I said, not every single person will believe or even be aware of this, right? If you're not focusing this, if you're not spiritual, you're not focusing on these things, then you're not really going to feel anything. But when you focus on the new spiritual, you've been practicing spirituality, you're meditating, you're doing your yogas, you're doing your breath work, you're doing your affirmations, you leveling yourself up, you're connecting with the deities and the guides and the ancestors, your ancestors, and you're honoring life in general, you get more connected to divine consciousness. Like now, today is a full moon. So I got up this morning and I felt like I needed to do a purging, a cleanse. So I cleaned my space. I cleaned my spiritual table, my altar. You understand? Because it's something, it's full moon. You need to, it's time for renewal, getting rid of the old, because it's a full cycle. Now you're full, you need to release, right? And now you're getting yourself ready for another cycle. So all these things are happening all at the same kind of time, because yesterday was the peak of the Lionsgate portal. Today it's the full moon. Full moon is also a very important part of our cycle here in astrology, right? Very important. Which book are you currently reading? Or currently, I was reading. I've got a book I've been reading. It's by what's his name? Um, what is his name now? I don't read a lot of books though, because I don't have time to read a lot of books. For me, it's time consuming. I'd rather do audibles. I like audios. I like audios more than physical books. But I've got a one by John, was it Joe Dispenza's book? One about manifesting, Joe Dispenza's book. I've got that one there that I've been reading, but I'm kind of stuck in it because I just, yeah, I don't have time. But I've been trying to find more time. So I prefer an audio. I can be in the office while I'm working and I'm listening to an audio. For me, it's like I'm getting that information I need to get. Right, but most people can find time and they have that time in their schedule to actually read a book, and I'm kind of, before, like say like about 4 or 5 years ago, I used to read books a lot. Like every week I'd be reading a book. Now these days I prefer audios because I'm always rushing and doing things, and time, 24 hours. The time is really accelerated, it's gone faster. So 24 hours honestly don't seem to be enough, especially when you have a day job, right? And spirituality and all the things I'm doing is actually on like a side thing that I'm doing with my spiritual business that I'm doing. Okay. All right. What else you asking? I was going through a Black Root Science at edit edition Quick Awakening read actually. Oh, that's nice. Interesting. Black spirituality. Wonderful stuff. And how did you find it? You find it interesting? Did you learn anything? This is what I'm beginning to understand. It's useless you just reading and reading if you're not taking things and implementing them into your life. That information that you're absorbing should become part of who you are. If you don't resonate with something, obviously you shouldn't be reading it, right? Because you're like wasting energy if you're not going to add those teachings, those learnings into your life experience and practice it. You understand? Yeah. That's how it is. That's what awakening is about. Awakening is about you not only getting that information, but also utilizing it, making those changes you need to make in your life. Right? So you're learning a lot. You've learned a lot. Excellent. Now you try and implement those things you've learned into your life experience, into your day-to-day experience. Very important. I learned a lot. Good for you. Yeah, keep on reading as long as it's expanding your consciousness. Remember that information is energy. And the more energy we get, the more we expand, more we can live our best lives here in this reality. You understand? The more we can level up and be the best we can be. Very important. And then somebody's asking, Mr. Kutsia, is it a lady? And more Kutsia, you say, I'm also, I don't know what you're doing, but like, a lot of people are saying a lot of things here. Let me go back. I'm getting sidetracked now. Okay, let me get back to my topic here. Right, only have a few minutes. I'm not going to be long on this live, right? So we are talking about portals and we're talking about the moon, and we'll speak more about the moon phases as well, right? So when you learn about spirituality, you need to understand that nature is who we are and we're parts of nature. So then we also have to be aware of our part and how nature works, the cycles of life. So the moon cycles help us to see that. Like for example, what's going on now with the Lion's Gates, it helps to understand the astrology. Okay, at this time in August, from this date to this date, we need to be aware that these things are happening and why we are also open to more downloads. Most people, like I've had a colleague this week saying to me that he's been receiving a lot of downloads. So I tried to explain to him that yes, the portal's open. That's why, and he's very spiritual. Although he's not really working on his spirituality actively, but he's got a gift, but he's not paying attention to it. Okay, so back to this whole concept. So you'll get spiritual downloads. Okay, awakening dominant gifts within you. As I said, your gifts will be awakened, like your intuition, your clairvoyance, and your healing will also be awakened at this time. Okay, manifesting desires aligned with your soul. Now you have the opportunity to manifest those desires that align to your soul. Very important, right? Then your heart chakra will be opening at this time, right? You just feel like when you are meditating, it's just a call for you to focus on your heart chakra, to open your heart, to do more self love practices of gratitude, grounding yourself in love. You know what I mean? Visualization and visualizing your love out, your heart opening up. And I was speaking about the heart chakra, I think about last week. So all these things are aligned. When I get information from my guys on what I need to talk to, it's always aligned to something. Nothing happens for no reason. Everything has an alignment and a purpose, right? That's what I was told. So when you see that all of a sudden you're drawn to do something at a certain time, you need to understand that there's a reason why you're drawn to do that, right? Specifically, maybe your guys are trying to wake you to your true self, to your own awareness, okay? Because most of us walking around and we have gifts, we have a spiritual purpose here, but we're not paying attention to those purposes that because we're too busy in the grind of life, in the hypnotic rhythm of this life experience where you actually hypnotized. You know what I mean? You feel you in struggle. Life is not a struggle, right? Life is a game, as Florence Scovel it said in her book that life is not a struggle, life is a game, right? But you have to be aware and conscious of your game. When you're not aware and conscious of your game and you think that life is all about getting up every day and going to the job you don't like and doing things you don't like and feeling like a victim in this reality, that makes you feel that life is a struggle, but it's not a struggle. Life is a game. So the Lions Gate dates starts from the 26th of July, as I said, right? And then it peaks on the 8th of August. And it'll go up to the 12th or to the 13th. Those energies are still coming through, but they're kind of listening at that stage, right? By the 13th of this month. The best practices that you can do in the Lion's Gate at this time is meditation, daily meditation, introspection, journaling. Focus on your heart and your third eye chakra. Journal intentions and intuitive messages. What they call it? Remote writing can also help you as well. It's like when you, I think it's that one when you where you speak to spirit and then spirit gives you answers when you write. It's called remote writing, that kind of thing. When spirit is going to speak to you and it give you those messages. Then visualize golden or white lights activating your energy field, okay, your aura. Visualize golden or white lights around your aura. Either blue, golden, or white, right? Those three colors are quite powerful. Blue for your throat chakra, okay? Your throat chakra, your sense of expression. Your throat is your sense of power connected to your sacral, okay, which is the orange center, right? So these things are very important to understand. Okay, at this time, you can actually start activating your heart chakra, your throat chakra. Speak your truth. Don't be afraid to speak your truth, as long as it's authentic and it's loving, because your truth should be loving to you and to others. What you're saying to yourself and what you're saying to others should be loving and empowering, okay? Very important as well. Affirmations like, I step fully into my power, or I choose to step fully into my power at this time. I allow divine abundance to flow through me and within me, right? I align with the highest soul part, with my highest soul part, my highest timeline, right? Then you practice ritual ceremonies, like anything that you do every single day, the same way as a ritual. You getting up every morning, making up your bed and brushing your teeth and putting your shoes on and getting ready for work every single day is a ritual practice. Okay, so rituals are not only done for spiritual practice, but also for your basic mundane stuff. You get up every morning, you do your hair, You do your makeup as a ritual. Women get up every morning, they moisturize, cleanse their faces, they do whatever they need to do. It's a ritual, okay? Like I have a ritual. I have many rituals that I do every single day, besides my spiritual stuff, okay? There's the mundane stuff, it then becomes religious things, what I do all the time, but it's still a ritual. Right? My spiritual stuff is based on my connection with divine source. My spiritual rituals are my connection with my ancestors, with my guides, with my higher self, with divine source, with Christ consciousness, with divine love. That's a spiritual connection, a spiritual ritual. Right? My other ritual that every day at a certain time I eat at a certain time. And sometimes I have cycles where I fast and eat every second day, or sometimes I have a ritual like for example, end of the month, end of each month, I'll fast for a day or two, or even 3 days the most. That's a ritual. Now, the more you do, it becomes like a hypnotic rhythm that you actually create within yourself, okay? Because life is about the rituals that we do. May they be mundane or may they be spiritual, they still rituals. And they create a frequency around you and within you. They create a vibration, and you're able to attract things because you have a specific ritual. If you have a ritual every Friday of going to get yourself stinking drunk every single Friday, and then you're drinking from Friday till Sunday, that's a ritual, okay? But now, is it adding goodness to you or is it taking away from you? You see my point? So your rituals that you're doing every day, your practices should be things that add value to your game of life. Thank you for that, guys. I hope it's nice that you found it funny, but sometimes we need to speak about the truth there, right? That we need to speak about the truth there. Everything we do becomes a hypnotic frequency, hypnotic rhythm that we do every single day. That's why people can't stop habits, bad habits, okay? But now we can implement healthy habits, healthy rituals. Instead of you drinking every Friday to Sunday, do something better. Maybe sleep more, add more hours in your sleep, or eat something healthy, or go for a jog every morning on Friday before you get to work, go for a jog or a brisk walk. That's a ritual that will add to your life experience, okay? Instead of you adding negative energies to your frequency and making your aura dark and low frequency, and you now will be attracting low frequency experiences, okay? Now let's go and let's talk about the full moon. Full moon. What is the full moon, and why are people so interested about this full moon? Why do you see everything about on spiritual channels? Full moon, astrologers, readers, tarot readers speaking about full moon. What's this big aha about full moons? Okay, what is the big drama around the full moon? Right, something I did not know before, because if you're not focused on spirituality and you focus on a mundane life, you will not know or even tune into when it's a full moon. You'll just say, oh, I see it's a full moon, and that's all. But you don't know the whole reason, or what it really means, what energies are coming through at this time. Okay, now the full moon is actually based on what? It's in a completion, it's a full cycle. A cycle has been completed. The lunar cycle is 29.5 days in full, right? For all the cycle expressions, right? So I made some notes here, because I'm not about to memorize every single thing, right? I'm not about to do that. I like to enjoy what I'm doing, right? So it's full moon associated with completion. As I said, it's about completing one cycle to another, right? Those 29.5 days, right? It's about transformation, transforming. Something new is coming through, old is getting released now, full completion. We're now looking at it, making ready for the next cycle. We're releasing and getting ready for the next cycle. Heightened emotions. That's what they say, like the wolves and the wild animals will be roaring, whatever, because it's the emotional time as well, because your moon is associated with emotions. The moon is a female energy that is carrying, right? So it's got a lot of emotional triggers in full moon. Like, for example, when the women have their cycles in the full moon, they're getting very emotional and stuff like that, because it's all about the moon, the energy at that time, okay? And the time for introspection, time for you to look within yourself, look at your past 30 days, 29.5 days, how it has been. What have you done? How have you been flowing in spirituality in yourself? Have you been operating in peace and wellness? Do you need to do something? Is there something you need to be aware of? You can also do your ancestral stuff in full moon too as well. Okay, you can also do your ancestral stuff depending on you, right? Because everybody needs to use their own intuition. Remember, spirituality, there's no one way of doing things or practicing your spiritual practice, right? There's no templates, right? You just have to go with your intuition, with your guidance, with your spiritual guidance, right? And it's time for releasing what no longer serves you, releasing what no longer serves you. Like today, I did a whole ritual of meditation. I cleansed my altar, my space. I cleansed my aura, and I meditated, and I did a little bit of introspection and affirmations and some prayer, and I connected with my guides and my deities, my favorite deities. Okay, that's what you do. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own experience. Remember, deities are just archetypal energies; they're not gods, right? Because you're already a god, right? There's nothing to fear. You're just as powerful. But now remember, because remember what they say, that human beings have the power of life and death with your tongue, right? How powerful we are. So there's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, you need to understand that you're part of everything. You are spirit. So it's archetypal energies. Okay, a lot of people are not aware about that, right? So I'm not worshiping deities. I'm using their energies. I'm using their archetypal energies. I focus in and I take what I can take from them, right? That energy, that archetypal, like example, Oshun, um, Lakshmi, that's the Asian one for wealth and abundance. Hekata, right? Goddess of the crossroads, goddess of the underworld. You understand? So yeah, there's many different archetypal deity energies, you know what I mean, out there in this whole collective experience called life. But it's up to you. You can even use Jesus. You can even use the concept of Jesus if you're Christian, right? Because there are Christian witches, right? Anyway, and because we're celebrating what you have created, looking at what you have created now. This is the time in a full moon to look at what you've created and celebrate it, okay? And say thank you, divine source. Thank you for the strength. Thank you, my spiritual team that's helped me, my ancestors, my guides. Thank you. I've reached this level. What can I do better in the next cycle? Remember, our ancestors were governed, or actually, or not governed. Maybe you could say they were aware of the cycle, so they kept to the cycles. They knew, oh, it's full moon. It's time to do this. Time to do that. Time to do that. You get my point? They knew very well. Now we're looking at a clock, and now we are in this whole hustle and grind. Then we're not flowing nicely with the cycles of the universe, of seasons, okay? When it's winter, what really happens in winter? It's time to relax. All the animals are hibernating. Winter's time for you to also, go within yourself, embrace this time, right? And we're gonna go now in the southern hemisphere. We're heading towards the spring equinox season. So now we have another cycle coming through. So cycles are very important, and the moon cycles play a part in that as well. Okay. So I said about celebrating what you have created in your life experience, what you've manifested, what you've achieved. It can be highlight your it can highlight or make you aware of the hidden stuff in your subconscious mind. What's been bothering you? What's been triggering you? What's been causing problems in your mind, in your day-to-day life experience, right? Bringing clarity as well. So the full moon is also time for you to get some clarity around certain things that you don't understand. Okay. So the clarity and awareness of your emotional and physical being, right? Your body is very important, right? I know that in spirit, in religion, they tell us your body is not important. Your spirit is important. Your body and your spirit are very important, right? All your bodies, your emotional bodies, your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, your superconscious mind, your spirit. All these bodies are very important, right? So you need to focus on the totality of you, right? So the full moon is time for you to go into that as well. The full moon is a time of completion. You know the cycle. Every cycle has a beginning and an ending. Like how life, like you are born, you live, enjoy this experience, and you die. Because life is a cycle. Okay, so that's what it represents. So what are the 8 cycles of the lunar calendar? The new moon. The first one that's coming next after the full moon, right? The waxing moon after the new moon is a waxing moon. Then you have the first quarter, right? Then you have the waxing gibbous, right? Then you have the full again, right? Full moon. Then you have the waning again, the waning gibbous, and then you have the third quarter, and then you have the waning crescent, right? So most people only we would only normally focus on the new moon and the full moon. Those two cycles are very important because they represent certain things into you, to humanity, to humans, right? The full moon and the new moon. New moon is about new beginnings, starting something fresh, right? There's another ritual you can do then for the new moon, but only if you're called to do so. I've been practicing spirituality since 20 what? 2017. And I've only recently been called to really focus on it more on it because spirits will only give you things when you're ready for it, okay? Information and those needs for you to tap into certain things will only be given to you when you are ready for it, okay? So don't rush to go into something that your intuition, your guides are not making you focus on. Don't rush, don't copycat. Just go with your own flow. You know what I mean? Learn things, and when you're ready, explore it more to understand it, and maybe it will also implement it into your spiritual practice as well. But don't do because other people are doing, okay? Let your spirit guide you, let your divine source, your guides guide you, okay? Because life is not a competition. Spirituality is about you, right? There's no right or wrong way of expressing your spirituality and practicing it. No right or wrong way, right? So these are things we need to understand when it comes to spiritual practices, right? Okay? So the full moon at this time is a time that we need to understand. It's a real thing that's really happening. It's energies. It's a completion of a cycle. And soon we're going to embark into another cycle, right? Like with everything else in your life, right? There's a beginning and an ending. When you have an idea and you have an inspiration to do something, you begin it, you've been inspired, it's a beginning. You work on it, you create it. When you finish creating, it becomes an ending and you enjoy it, right? Now, life is about that because we are constantly manifesting and creating new things into our life experience. We're constantly bringing new things into our life experience, okay? I hope this was helpful, this information was helpful, right? So if you have not as yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It's a small channel. Yes, I'm based in South Africa, right? And my point of view is unique to me, right? Remember that every person has their own understanding about spirituality and about life, right? So I am a life coach and a motivational speaker, but also a spiritual teacher as well, right? So I also do tarot as well. If you go to my channel, you see I put some videos on my tarot readings, right? Because I am clairvoyant like most of us. Every person has a clairvoyance gift, but people haven't focused on it, right? So I make top videos on that, and I speak about us developing as spirit, but also as human beings, embracing being human, but also embracing being spiritual as well, right? Embracing who we are in fulfillment instead of us denying who we are. Right now, religion and all the other stuff has been teaching us that we need to deny spirituality, that there is this divine God and we're powerless. We're not powerless, we're powerful. We're the opposite of everything that's been told. You see, the whole idea that the Bible is a good book, right? But it's used to manipulate people. It's used to manipulate people. Anything good or bad can be used against people, right? Even good things can be used against people. So you have to wake up and realize who you are. And then also owning your own power, making those decisions as well, right? Take your spirituality in your own hand, your own existence within your own hand, and live it to your fullest while you live in the mundane life as well of getting up and going to work and doing all the physical things you need to do. But remember, this is a time for you to open your heart as well, right? To work on your heart chakra a lot. Forgive more, right? Allow people to be themselves, right? Don't force your opinions on other people. Forgive more, love, and also have compassion and gratitude for your life and for the people in your life experience, okay? Every single person is a golden thread to your success. Even if the person in the workspace is giving you uphill, is making your life difficult and challenging, that person's there to teach you something, okay? That person's there to expand you because that person's taking you out of your comfort zone. You need to deal with something. You need to learn how to solve conflicts within workspace. You need to learn how to solve conflicts in your work, in your family. This is all the mundane stuff. And you need to show up there. So when you are spiritual, right, and you are awakening in your way, it doesn't mean your problems will all go away. It just means that you're going to get another level of test coming through. You will still experience struggles and challenges in life because you're still making those choices. You're still making sometimes choices that are creating not so good experiences or repercussions into your life experience, right? So you must remember that as well, that it's all about the whole experience. So even if you are Christian or even you are spiritual, and you're deeply on both sides, whatever sort it may be, on either sides, you will still experience the struggles of life. Because when I was in the church and everything, and being that born again Christian, whatever I was, right, having that whole connection, right, I understood that I still had problems and challenges, right. Just because you believe in a higher power, you believe in something higher, doesn't mean you will not have problems. Your growth path is through a challenge. Your growth path is through the challenge itself. It doesn't mean that you need to go and create those challenges. You need to go with the flow of life and surrender. It's about that. I'm not sure why I'm talking about this, but I'm sure it's going to be helpful for somebody at this moment, right? Spirit is saying that we need to understand even every problem, there's always a solution to your problem. For every challenge, you always have the power and the means and ability to overcome it for every challenge, right? Don't back away from life, because life, you need to accept it with its good and its bad. Don't back away from life and don't be scared of life, right? Work on your solar plexus. Work on your base chakra. Work on your heart. Work on your throat chakra. Work on your third eye. Work on yourself. Eat healthy. Sleep more, right? Sleep more. Rest. Work on your anxiety, because I mean, anxiety and stress is a big thing these days, right, in life. Okay, now we're speaking about the totality of who we are now, right? As human beings, you will still have problems and challenges, as I said, but you need to work on yourself and forgiveness. Forgive the situation, forgive the person, forgive the circumstance, right? Everybody's just operating from their level of awareness and understanding. No one is perfect here, even myself. There's no person that's perfect. We're all just operating at our level of understanding. So forgive others and forgive yourself, guys. Very important, okay? I hope this was helpful. I'm trying to see if I can get into 45 minutes so I can stop this live, okay? So if you have not as yet, go ahead and follow me, okay? Follow me on TikTok. If you have TikTok, I'm there on TikTok as well. But you can also get subscribe to me on this channel, okay? Check out my videos, and then also comment if you want to comment, and also suggest topics if you have subscribed, okay, before. Suggest some topics that you would like to know more about, you want to hear me speak about, whatever topic it is, okay? Very important for us to share this information, right? Because all the information I get and the downloads I get from my guides and spirits, I like to share with other people as well, right? Because information is energy. Information is energy. So here we are now in August. Looking back at July, we had an experience of having the Mercury retrograde, right? And there was a lot of people, especially in my life, speaking about their past, in most cases, unresolved issues, thinking about their past exes. Will he come back to me? Is he thinking about me and all those things, right? That is because of the Mercury retrograde energy that came through at that time. Okay, which is now ending now, also on the 12th, same time where the Lion's Gate also closes, right? So the Mercury retrograde is now coming to an end on the 12th of August, right? So these are the things we need to be aware about. Why am I triggered at a certain time? Why am I making such decisions about my relationships? Why am I thinking about a past person that hurt me and I walked away from that relationship? That means that there's no closure. You didn't close that door. You never cut those cords. You never sever those cords. Right? Now, for every relationship that you have, you're supposed to sever a cord. Even if you do it consciously, is the best way to do it. If you do it unconsciously, it's not a good sever, right? You can do our cleansing, you can sever and cut that connection with that person. Because now you're moving forward. You will say, I've had this experience, I'm now moving on. I release this relationship and I release this past with this person lovingly. You don't have to hate any person, even if that person caused you pain, even if that person challenged you to the point where you were in pain. You need to forgive that person and move forward. So people that never did that were getting a lot of issues at this time with the Mercury retrograde, right? Energy that came through. Mercury moving backwards, right? So these are the things that people need to understand, right? Because everything doesn't just happen. There's always some sort of an energy that's actually exerting a type of influence over you. But then again, we have freedom of choice because we are gifted the freedom of choice. Remember, astrology is not there to control us and say, but we need to understand the energies and understand why am I behaving a certain way? Why is every person like carrying on like this in this time when certain portals are open? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. When certain things are happening. Okay. So the difference, human beings are gifted, but they don't know their gifts because they're not afraid to tap into their gifts, right? They're clairvoyants. They're afraid to tap into their gifts. I'm not sure why. Why are we so afraid of tapping into who we are? So I spoke about the portal, right? And I explained what portals are. I spoke about the moon and the moon phases. Very important, right? Then now let's talk about the Leo. Leo is also astrology sign, right? The people born in the sign of Leo. Leo is also linked to the sun. It's linked to abundance. Okay, it's also linked to wealth and prosperity. Most people that are Leos end up becoming very successful for business people because they have that energy. It's there, it's in the astrology, right? But then again, the energy can be in your astrology, but if you're not focused on leveling up, you're not focused and determined at, and doing things with intention, then yeah, it's not going to work for you. So you have your astrology, it has that energy, but there's an extra thing that you do by choice. You understand? Because your astrology doesn't totally control your life experience. Your birth star when you were born doesn't control, right? You still have choice. However, it opens a certain space or certain energy, right, for you to be able to achieve certain things only by choice because like everything is choice, right? So yes, not every person born in a Leo star sign will be successful. It's up to that person if they really want to, okay? So Leo's ruled by the sun, right? The sun is represented by vitality, identity, power, and success, right? The sun is about power, success, identity. It's a powerful star, right? A strong sun or Leo ruler in the birth chart gives you a magnetic personality. So when you have a Leo as your birth star, it gives you a magnetic personality of confidence. You're confident, like a lion. You're confident. You know what you want. You know how to get. And you got patience because lions are patient. They will look at what they're hunting and they will cage. Cats are like that. They don't just pounce. They look patiently. They've got strategy. Leos or people with strategy because lions and cats, they don't just attack, right? They got a lot of patience. So even if they take you 5 hours for them to come and get you, but they will check you out nicely. They're planning. They're strategizing. That's why Leos are normally great corporate giants or business people making big money. You understand? Because they understand. They've got the patience. Most people have a problem with manifesting because they don't have the patience. The Leo people have patience because they have the cats, right? They have the patience. Leo is also a royal sign, mind you. This is very interesting, right? And I was that why am I Aquarius? But remember, before you come through, you've decided everything, your birthplace, your date, your family. You've really decided your higher self, your spirit's higher source, right? Working with higher source, your higher self already had everything planned, right? So there's a reason why you were not born in a Leo sign. There's a reason why you were born in a certain country at a certain time to certain family members. Your soul, your higher self had a purpose, a destiny, a kind of a construct, a structure, a blueprint for your life on how it's going to turn out. But then again, you drop into this physical body and then you do your life and you make those choices with these energies that you have already put in place, right? And then what they've done, they sprinkle it across your whole life. At certain times, certain things will be triggered. At 40, I was triggered to be awakened, right? At 18, a very negative thing happened to me. That was really planned. Came up, it was a head injury. And then in my birth chart, they said I must be careful of head injuries because those are the things that will cause problems. Now, if I knew at the age of 12 about this, I probably would have not made a decision or got myself into a situation where I was injured on my head injury, you understand? So these are things we don't really not aware about, because from birth we fed religion. From birth we fed powerlessness. We fed to be followers, to be sheep. Be a sheep. Be a timid sheep that doesn't want to know, doesn't want to level up, is just happy to get the basics. Just happy to get the basics. That's what we're taught, right? We're not taught to level up and take our power. Everything of how the system here and this reality is, it's about teaching us to be submissive. You go to school for 12 years to teach you to bow down to a senior person, bow down to somebody else. Come at school, they ring the bell, they even ring bells. Bells are spiritual energy frequencies, right? When you ring a bell, let's say it triggers something in your mind, it triggers something in the atmosphere, crosses over, right? Bell is ringing, be quiet, sit down. The bell rang, the teacher walked in, you quiet, you submissive, you listen. You only speak when you're spoken to, right? So all these things happen because it's there for a reason, to take us away from who we truly are. We're told that we should not talk until we're spoken to. You understand? We're told that we shouldn't be expressing other things that are not in the normal. Don't express occultic stuff. That's occultic. Ooh, it's scary. Ooh, be scared. Be scared of the devil. Be scared of... That's what we taught, right? We taught all these things for a reason. It's about control. But when you come to a point where your spirit wakes you up, mine happened at my end of my 30s, early 40s, 40, 39, around there, where I woke up, right? I was moved. And it normally happens when something traumatic happens in your life, right? I was moved from a space of comfort. It was made uncomfortable, that situation. I wasn't happy. I had to leave a job of 10 years, right? Comfortable job, because I was in that zone of being in that rhythm of what they call a hypnotic rhythm, where you focus only on the physical things only, and you're in the struggle, you understand, and you're stuck in this one thing every single day, doing the same thing. On Sundays you go to church, you only happy and feel that love for that moment, and then you go back to life, and all the problems in your empowerment is gone, because they've given your power to the church, you're giving the power to the corporations, you're giving the power to the banks. You haven't taken your own power. You haven't realized that you have a choice, even with debt. We have a choice around that. We have a choice, but you don't know that because you're still living like a slave. But then remember that in your astrology, there's times and portals, let's call them portals, where things will be triggered within you to wake up to who you truly are, all right? You will be triggered. You'll be pushed to go read a certain book. You'll be pushed to go and watch a certain video that's going to wake you, okay? You'll be pushed to learn something new about yourself, that what you put in your body can also pollute you. Not all food is healthy for your soul or for your body. You're not taught all those things, right? Until later on you find out, when you get to those portals in your life, and you're going to learn something different. Okay, guys? Let me get ready now to close my live, okay? So as I said, if you are interested in this type of topics and stuff like that, right, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm Sissy, life coach and motivational speaker. I normally do a lives on weekends only, right? Saturday and Sundays. Currently, I'm doing that because I don't have time. Even the political world to do it every single day, you know what I mean? Because I'm also employed. Yes, I'm in the mundane, and I pay bills like everybody else, right? So being spiritual is not being not neglecting yourself, not making stupid decisions, okay? Just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you need to go now and resign from the world, resign from your job, you know what I mean? You still need to control yourself. It's about maturity. Use your wisdom. Do what you have to do. Where you're working, you know, you're adding value. That's what I believe. I'm adding value. I'm adding my value to where I work. I make the place a better place. I'm adding value to the company I work for. These are things that you need to understand. Like within your family, in all your mundane experiences, right? You're always adding who you are, because you are beautiful, beautiful and beautifully created, spark of divine consciousness. So wherever you are, make sure you add in that value of who you are. But you can only do that when you realize who you are, that you are beautiful, that you are able to add value, right? That you are worthy of abundance and prosperity, right? All those things, all the good things, right? That's what life is about. So have a great weekend further. It's now Saturday, right? Enjoy today. Happy Women's Day for the women out there, right? The space holders, the ones that bring forth life, right? Love and protect yourself with your love for yourself. Make decisions according to for your own purpose, okay? And men, treat your woman well every single day, not only today because it's Women's Day in South Africa, but also treat your woman well every single day, because she is the one that can bless you. Divine phenomenon, she can bless you. If you bless her with your love and your attention, right, then she can bless you too as well, okay? So have a great weekend further, guys. And remember that you are loved, right? And this place is a place of abundance and happiness. You choose to be abundant and you choose to be happy, right? It's a game. You will see that you'll be gaslighted that this place is a horrible place, that life is horrible. But you have to choose and choose the positiveness, right? Okay. Have a great weekend further, guys. I enjoy. Ciao.